Hi, my name is Munir Abdul Hakim, and I live in Knightdale, North Carolina, which is just south of Raleigh, North Carolina. And I've been here since 2006, and I work with organizations called Muslims for Social Justice, People's Power Lab, and Black Workers for Justice. And I'm also a member of different coalitions in this area. Come from an African American background. I've been Muslim for uh, over 30 years, and Islam has very strict tenets on how you live your life. Um, and when you interact with people from different cultures, different diverse backgrounds, their cultural norms, their religious beliefs are going to be different from mine as a Muslim. But when I was in the SEIRN gatherings, it was the first time I was in a space where I was more of the minority. Of course, African American, I'm used to being a minority, but in the SEIRN space, it was mostly Latino groups. It was a lot of groups that were transgender and LGBTQ. And we were doing a lot of activities around our culture and other people's cultures and getting to know each other on personal levels. But being in those type of spaces, again, with people, a lot of people speaking Spanish, and I don't know Spanish that well, and I had to make other people feel comfortable that, hey, I'm not against you, and I don't feel like you're against me, and you have to break down those unspoken barriers before you can even get to the point where y'all can start really communicating with each other on an interpersonal level. So a lot of the spaces that I'm in, they talk about we have to work with the Latino community, but you never see translation services. One thing that CERN was big on was translation services, which I really appreciate that because now I'm able to know in real time what people are saying when they're talking in Spanish. And they're able to know what I'm saying when I'm talking in English and they don't understand English that well. And I think that that helps to build better relationships and understanding of who we are. Because otherwise, it's like, who's that guy sitting across the room? But once the language barrier is alleviated, then you get to know that person better because they're relating in their own language and you can relate to their experiences. So that's how CERN has helped me in those uncomfortable spaces to get to be a better organizer and to have a better understanding of what my brother and sister is going through that's undocumented, or my brother and sister that's transgender or LGBTQ, and discrimination and the violence that they face is similar to the discrimination and the violence that I face as an African American. Yeah. It's because in their Weaving Solidarity gatherings, they bring personal aspects of people's experiences. Um, they bring healing. Um, they bring culture. These things are important in the gatherings. I got to see in person dance from cultures from South America. I got to hear instruments from South America, Central America. I got to see dance from people from Africa. I got a chance to explain why I don't know what my culture is or what my language is of my ancestors, because my most recent ancestors were enslaved and lost all of their history and all of their language and all of their culture, and I was able to explain to the group that when you hear people saying, "Oh, African Americans are this," all the negative stereotypes, I think that's how they divide us. It's like a us against them mentality, and everything's like a competition. So we become more divisive. And I told people, so when you have more empathy, when you hear that there's a whole lot of dimensions to why somebody got a poor education in elementary school and ended up not graduating high school or not going to college. There's a whole lot of discrimination economically in corporate America as to why it doesn't look like us. You know what I'm saying? The people they promote, the people they hire, it's not us, and we know that. So we look for alternative ways to survive. You know, and we lost our culture on top of that. Along with all of the discrimination and all of the microaggression. And so that was part of my culture that I shared. I mean, I could have talked about soul food or blues or R&B, but I felt it was more important for people to have a better understanding of the African American male and their experiences, because I was learning what it was like to be an undocumented person living in the South, and have to be worried about going to the doctor or calling the police because domestic violence, or needing mental health services, or having to pay taxes but having no Social Security benefits. You know, this helps me to understand better the people who are in my community, and why it's important for us to fight against the injustice that we're all facing together. Mm. CERN was at the heart of that, making space for us and leading the discussion to places where we all came there strangers. We didn't know where the discussion was going to go. But I think by the time we left each gathering, we were closer, and we saw how we were more connected than we realized. So that's why I say that I feel like CERN was the heart, the blood pumping to get people from different backgrounds and activists and organizers together to figure out how we can build a movement together and work together um, going forward. Yeah. I think it's important for CERN's work to continue because, how strong are the ties and the relationships between the Latino community, the African community, immigrants of different nationalities and countries, African Americans, Muslims and non-Muslims and Christians, people of different faiths, genders. How strong really are our bonds? You know, we have been working for decades to try to build coalitions, and we a lot of times have loose coalitions that come together around a certain issue, and then we'll go back to like our own camps, and we'll come together when we're all under attack again. And I think CERN long range has the ability to build those long lasting collaborations of working class people across different um, ethnicities, immigrants, undocumented, African American, Latino, LGBTQ. We work with a lot of Muslim refugees right now. Um, they're going to need support in the coming years. Right now, the refugees we work with, their main thing is basics, getting a job, being able to pay their rent, being able to have food, having a cell phone, having transportation. But at some point, they're going to understand that they need to have political powers to survive. And CERN being focused on bringing refugees and immigrants together could be a very important part of that process as we move forward.